Every year, there are teams that are expected to perform at a certain level and fail to live up to those expectations. This can be due to coaching changes, injuries, or underperforming players, along with a slew of other things. Going into the following season, you expect these teams to improve and get back on track to what they are expected to do. 2023 is no different, and in this video I will go over 5 teams that should improve this season. If you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more college football content like this, and comment who you believe will be the most improved team this year. Year 1 under Brent Venables in Oklahoma did not go the way many hoped it would have. For the first time since 1946, a coach left Oklahoma for another job when Lincoln Riley departed for USC, which led to the program being gutted due to the transfer portal. They had their first losing season in 25 years and got crushed by Texas and Red River. Things should be better this year though, with Oklahoma returning 13 starters including quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who will look to stay healthy this season. You will have to do more this season, losing the top 2 receivers and a 1,300-yard rusher with the departure of Marvin Mims and Eric Gray. He will have 4 starters on the offensive line returning, which is a top 10 unit in the nation according to Phil Steele. They will look to improve the defense this season with additions like Indiana linebacker Dasan McCullough, who was one of the top players at the position in the transfer portal, and pass rusher Oklahoma State transfer Trace Ford. This is a brand new roster for the Sooners, with 56 of the 71 players on the Alamo Bowl roster from a few years ago no longer on the team. They have a much more favorable schedule and enter year 2 under Venables and Levy's systems. This is Oklahoma's last year in the Big 12 before joining the SEC, making it the best chance for the team to win a conference title for the foreseeable future as they adjust to their new conference next year. Bill Steele has them ranked as the number 2 most improved team in the nation, projected them to finish second in the Big 12 behind Texas, could have easily gone 8-5 last season had they won 2 one-score games, and Phil Steele has them ranked as the 21st best team in the power poll, and they have an SMI of plus 5.2. The Sooners should contend this season, as last year should be a one-off, not the norm. Last season was a disaster for the Nevada Wolfpack, as they not only had a brand new head coach in Ken Wilson, but also needed to replace 2-time Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year Carson Strong at quarterback. Oklahoma State transfer Shane Illingworth and former JUCO quarterback Nate Cox, who stood at 6'9", both started 6 games last season, with the Wolfpack finishing 2-10. Nevada ranked 113th nationally last season when it came to the passing game with 186 passing yards per game. Illingworth returns after finishing last year throwing for 761 yards, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but the Wolfpack also bring in former Colorado starter Brandon Lewis. Lewis finished the spring taking first-team reps and looks to be the favorite to win the starting job, but the door is still open for Illingworth and co. to steal the job away from him. Wilson feels a lot more confident in the quarterback position going into this season than he did his first year as head coach. Going into this season, the offense is projected to improve from 18.8 points per game to 25.5 points per game, with 6 starters returning. On the defensive side of the ball, the Wolfpack should also see improvements compared to last year. Going into last season, they returned only 3 starters on the defensive side of the ball and gave up 30.9 points per game. This year, they returned 8 starters on the defensive side of the ball and are expected to see a major improvement, expecting to give up 29.1 points per game. With the additions of former Oregon running back Sean Dollar and Cal running back Ashton Hayes, as well as strong additions at the linebacker position with the likes of Oregon transfer Jackson LeDuc and Adrian Jackson, as well as Eastern Washington transfer Trey Weed, a unit that, mind you, had to replace 4 of their top 5 linebackers last year, should see improvements with returning starters as well. The Wolfpack don't have to play Boise State, Air Force, or San Jose State, but will have 2 tough non-conference matchups against USC and Kansas. Bill Steele projects them to have an SMI of plus 7, with the 117th hardest schedule. This season expects them to be in contention of making a bowl game. On the other hand, College Football Nation projects them to go 4-8 and miss out on the postseason for a second year in a row. The only way for the Colorado football program is up, and this is before you even bring in the Deion Sanders factor. Last year, Colorado was bad. I mean bad, losing by an average of 30 points per game. They have a complete roster turnover, bringing in the likes of Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders from Jackson State, and having one of the best transfer classes in the nation. The Buffs have not seen a quarterback drafted since 1997, and saw multiple quarterbacks have playing time, including Maddox Kopp, who began last year as a 6th-string quarterback. Sanders is viewed as an improvement even when you include the step up from FCS to FBS. Last year he won the Walter Payton Award, which is the FBS Heisman after completing over 70% of his passes, throwing for 40 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions, and averaging 289 yards per game through the air and adding another 6 touchdowns on the ground. Each position on the offense has been bolstered by players through the transfer portal. On the defensive side of the ball, the Buffs allowed an average of 510 yards per game and will look to have major improvements with the additions they have added this year. College Football Nation projects them to win 4.5 games, while Phil Steele feels they may contend for a bowl game. Colorado has won more than 5 games in a season only once since 2016, and aside from the COVID season, has not had a winning season since 2005. Phil Steele projects their SMI to be 5.8, and the only way to go is up for the Colorado Buffaloes. Appalachian State ranks as Phil Steele's third most improved team going to the 2023 season and are coming off the worst season they've had since joining the FBS in 2014 when they went 7-5. The season started off so promising with a close loss to North Carolina 63-61 and going on the road to upset Texas A&M as well as beating Troy, who went on to win the Sun Belt. App State is tied with Boise State for the dubious honor of having the most wins of any team that is yet to be in the college football playoff. More than USC, more than Penn State, more than my Wisconsin Badgers, Texas, Florida, and everyone else who is yet to be a part of the 4-team tournament. With the departure of Chase Bryce, returning offense coordinator Kevin Barbay will turn to redshirt freshman Ryan Berger to lead the offense at the quarterback position. JUCO quarterback Joey Aguilar could also compete for the starting job. The top 4 wide receivers return from the Mountaineers, and they all have the ability to stretch the field. The running backs struggled last year, but should be able to bounce back this upcoming season, as App State has historically been able to get the running game going every year. The interior of the line around center Isaiah Holmes might be the best in the Sun Belt if Georgia transfer Griffin Scroggs shines right away at one of the guard gigs. If excellent guard Damon Daly is as good at tackle, the front 5 is set. They only returned 5 starters from the offense last year, but head coach Sean Clark likes the size of the defensive line and believes he has some of the best corners in the Sun Belt. The defense will need to do better on third downs this year, and they need to get more pressure from the defensive line. They have an SMI of plus 3.9 and are projected to win the Sun Belt according to Phil Steele this season. College Football Nation projects them to go 8-4, and they should return to a bowl game once again and may be ranked in the polls at some point this season. The last team I want to talk about is Miami. Going to the last season, Tyler Van Dyke was projected to be a Heisman contender, but struggled in the new offense with the new coaching staff led by Mario Cristobal. They went into the season as favorites to win the Coastal, but instead failed to live up to the hype, going 5-7 and failing to make it to a bowl game. Going into year 2 under Cristobal, Miami returns 19 starters and added some strong players through the transfer portal. Van Dyke will look to avoid injuries this year and should fit the offense a little better this coming season. They could have one of the best offensive lines in the nation as well. Miami added a pair of starters in the transfer portal, plucking Matt Lee away from UCF and getting star guard Javion Cohen from Alabama. On defense, they have returning All-American in Cameron Kinchins for the first time since 2006. They have some great players across the unit, but will also have some glaring holes. Injuries crushed the Canes last season, and it's hard to see lightning strike twice in that way, so they should improve. They're projected to finish 5th in the ACC according to Phil Steele, and have an over-under of 7.5 wins. They're ranked as Steele's 4th most improved team in the nation, and could be an underdog to watch this upcoming season, though it feels like they may be a year away from contending for the conference title. And those are 5 teams I expect to improve going into the 2023 college football season. Who do you think will see the biggest improvement? Make sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.